Alright, we are back to game number 2 of Square Ducks versus ASU. Looking to see a bit better of a game this time, but similar lineups coming out of both sides, though they have made a few noticeable changes on both. The big difference is Thresh and Twisted Fate have been banned out, as Twisted Fate did a good bit of work last game, and Thresh did a whole lot as well. It has really been just an interesting game so far. This is game number 2, and we will have Square Ducks on the right side with ASU on the left. Looks like we are going to be having on the ASU side of things Diana, likely could be mid or top depending upon how they want to lane her. Probably mid, as they ran Nidalee top last time. Nidalee likely up top again. Sona will be down bottom supporting Misfortune, and Volibear in the jungle. Go ahead and take us away with the Square Duck side of things on the purple side.
Okay, so we're going to be having Karthus in the mid lane up top, and we'll be seeing Elise once again in the jungle. We'll be seeing another Xin Zhao on bottom lane. We have another Lulu, but this time she's going to be supporting a Twitch. So, same 3 champions coming out from Square Ducks. Interestingly enough, they banned the Twisted Fate against themselves. However, Captain Korea takes the next thing that you could do with global ultimates and goes Karthus.
I really like the decision to go Karthus. They really like to apply that early to mid game pressure last time, and they just needed that extra bit of damage, and Karthus will provide that for them. Because last game, even though they were up pretty significantly early on, their fights were still close, and that extra bit of damage from someone like Karthus is going to put them over the top and allow them to really take it out. This is game number 2 of Square Ducks versus ASU. And I like the Nidalee pick again. It went fairly well against Elise. They traded pretty much evenly, even though Nidalee made a few mistakes. But she was really the one bright spot for her team in that first game, as she just had some really good spears, really turned around some of those mid-game fights and made them acceptable. But the big difference here is I don't think we're going to see a level 1 invade on the side of ASU.
Yeah, probably this time we'll be seeing it. Did not work out at all. We're getting to these last 10 seconds. This champ, it's like we're on ESL and we're just restreaming Riot streams. So the winner of this will be facing Curse Academy in LA for a spot to get into the qualifiers for LCS. So it's like a spot for a spot to try to get an LCS. That makes sense. But we can go ahead and go to an ad break. So stay tuned, everybody, for a great game.
Oh, we're right. We're back into the loading screen. As we see a lot of interesting summoning spells. No cleanse being taken on either side. Exhaust being taken this time by Karthus, while Lulu decided to go pick up Ignite. Yep. As Sona is actually picking up Exhaust this time, as they really could have used that in the first game over the Ignite. They never had the opportunity to play aggressive and really take advantage of that bottom lane with Ignite. But Exhaust is going to be incredibly helpful for whenever Karthus or Elise tries to go to that back line and get on Misfortune.
Yeah. Wait, I thought ASU had the Exhaust last game and Square Duck had Ignite. Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
But oh well. I'm kind of interested to see why the AD carries aren't running cleanse. Just due to the fact there's a lot of CC coming out, especially something like a Crescendo on Twitch, and he's pretty much dead. Same thing with a lot of champions at this point, because that Crescendo is really going to be what determines these fights. Sona, if she can land a good Crescendo, they'll be over quick, because that'll line up Nidalee Spears, big Misfortune ultimates, and let Volibear and Diana do their job. But if it's off, it's going to be turned in their face really hard.
Yeah, I think is for Twitch, the Crescendo is really the only thing you would want to cleanse. I mean, everyone else is just sort of slows, and then there's like a pull or no, a fling, and then a pull in from Diana and from Volibear. So there's not too much for him to cleanse out. Over on the side of Square Duck, there's some slows coming out. There's a stun from the Elise. I'm not sure. Does Cleanse remove the Twitch poisons? Does it?
It
Or is
doesn't
it
remove the
only?
poison or remove the slow
Oh,
caused by
I see.
some of his poisons.
Okay. Was Quicksilver Sash moves like all debuffs,
Yeah,
right?
Quicksilver Sash removes everything. Nothing is around. It'll remove Twitch poisons. It'll
I
remove
see.
everything.
Okay. Because that's what I was thinking of here. So it looks like people just kind of posturing for mid lane. Captain Korea making the first hit using that Skittle there to damage off that Volibear. But besides that, I'm pretty sure there's not going to be too much aggression coming out.
Yeah, it's a good
So,
decision not to aggress this game. It would have been
yeah.
really hard to deal with Karthus' level 1 damage and Lulu's slow, as neither team has very much CC for a level 1 fight. I mean, there's a fling on Volibear, but you really don't want to pick up that at level 1. And that's about it for CC on the side of ASU side at level 1. While
Yeah.
on the Square Duck side, they would have had a few slows and maybe Cocoon coming out of Elise, but you don't want that at level 1 either. You want something that does a bit of damage.
Yeah, definitely. Also, once again, we see Locust going for that cloth armor, so maybe that's just something he prefers. It wasn't something to counter out, Draven's early game damage, but just something he likes, I suppose. Also, we do see the lane swap coming out here. Twitch and Lulu will be going up top in the face-off versus Nidalee. They're sending Elise down bottom versus Misfortune and Sona.
I like this decision to send Elise down bottom, as Misfortune Zone is really a poke-heavy lane, and I don't think Lulu and Twitch would have been able to deal with it long-term. They would have had an okay start, but they would have been poked out of lane fairly quickly. And then once they're poked out of lane, it's hard to recover. But up top, they're going to be against Nidalee. She'll harass them a little bit. She'll be able to farm fairly well. But they're going to be able to win the lane pretty handily overall. Another thing I liked on the side of Square Ducks, what they did is they gave all that early CS to Elise, so she'll hit level 2 very quickly, which she already has, and she'll be able to actually last hit from a distance with her Spiderlings.
Yeah, definitely. That's just really nice for her. As of course she is sort of the hybrid champion there, and she will have some difficulty, just with farming, especially of course against Misfortune and Sona. They'll just be poking her down a lot. Looks like mid lane is gonna be coming off from Volibear, gets a slow, gets a knockback through the flash, so a fair bit of damage going on to Captain Korea, as well as the flash being burned there. Of course, that Volibear fling is like singe flings where you can just knock them back, even though they dash or flash away sort of there.
Looks like Xin Zhao is going to come up for a top gank, but he instead decides to back up, because I think he was spotted out, possibly stepped on a Nidalee trap, and he's going to be in a bit of trouble, but the directed camera doesn't like to take us over there, as he didn't take enough damage for it to register, and we're just going to go back to watching people farming for a bit. So that Volibear gank was a really good idea, just to get the Karthus flash out, so he's going to have that down for later, in case Diana gets something going.
They just want Xin Zhao to really help push down that tower. That's really what you want to do when you switch your lanes there, when you switch them up. You just want to really push down that early tower, get that advantage, and switch it back, as well as just shutting down the top laner. And Xin Zhao is just really helpful with that because he has quite a bit of attack speed on tip, so he's able to do a pretty healthy chunk of damage to that tower. It is already a little bit like it's about half health, a little bit over half health right now. They're just kind of poking him down, as well as poking down Nidalee, who is about 2 CS behind this Elise. Bottom looks like towers at the same place too. So
yeah, the big difference though is in mid lane, where Diana is getting pushed around by Karthus. Karthus up 10 CS, but he's in a bit of trouble as Volibear will get the slow, get the fling, and taking him very low. But the exhaust is there, and Karthus will pick up first blood. Volibear in a lot of trouble.
Yeah,
as he does try and run away, but that passive
what actually pulls him back into the towers enough to pick up the kill there. Just using the passive to his advantage, got all the extra regen, was able to turn it around. That buff tower damage, man, just doing a lot of damage. And actually going as a Captain Korea who has no mana up. Passive will be going down. He has to flash away from the passive, will be able to live. And Capricious, I'm not even trying to say their name, but Capricious, I'm not sure, but the volley still is now 2-0, picking up a bit of an early lead there. Really playing out the game well. He knew that tower was going to do more damage, get the regen going, and also knew that there was no mana on that Karthus.
Yeah, the big thing was that there's no mana. Looks like we do have the first tower of the game, taking down bottom on the side of ASU. They're off to a good start this game, and let's see what they can do. As they've shown they've done pretty well. The Volibear is what I think what they really wanted, and I think might see a ban if this goes to game 3. As that was some impressive play to just juke out Karthus like that. And so far, Misfortune is ahead of Twitch in terms of farm, up 7 minions so far, and it's only going to get further, as Twitch is going to have to rotate down bottom before Misfortune Sona just punch that lane to death, as Elise hasn't had an opportunity to really leave it at this point.
Look at that, Volibear just, not even caring, just goes aggressive onto the Xin Zhao in the jungle right now. Looks like down bottom lane, Flaresz is going to get trapped in between Bad Burglar and Jung, and Jung flashing in there. And not really anything going to be coming of that one. Flaresz is able to escape from there. Has to use his flash to get out of that one. Boost the speed on this Volibear. That is just, oh gosh, he's going to get so much extra movement speed from that. Able to, use his Rolling Thunder, close the gap, get in there. Slackoh down bottom lane, just going into his stealth there. Lots of damage going on to the Sona flash, and actually, and 3 flashes being burned here, but Bad Burger is getting super low. Here comes the card that's open. Should be able to pick up the kill. Actually, no, Slackoh picks up the kill. Damage onto Jung here. She's just slowed down using the barrier. Can't you get out of this one? She's still doing a lot, taking lots of damage. Going under the tower for this one. Double kill for Slackoh. Really well done by Twitch and Lulu.
It was a good play. They really baited them out there. Misfortune Sona just stayed way too long. They got a little greedy wanting for CS. But instead, that really turns around them. And that turns around the game because we're likely to see a dragon on the side of Square Ducks. This is their opportunity to jump in there and take advantage.
Diving into this card this year, taking lots of damage in turn because of Volibear, how we're getting in here using the old Rolling Thunder, pulling him back. Atrloc is able to get in there, pick up the kill. Looks like he will be able to live through that. However, the dragon did go down. Square Duck picking that one up. So it's 3 for 3 in kills, and actually might change it because Flaresz comes in, exploding spider, able to stop Atrloc from backing, picks up the kill. Really done well by him, just responding to that and going down the river to pick up that kill.
That was just someone looking at the item shop like we've all done in our solo queue games, instead of looking at the map, because they could have easily run away from that. They're about the same speed, and she could have just run around for a little bit.
Volibear gonna get cut off. He's gonna be stunned and knocked up and taken out by Elise. So not looking good for ASU here. They looked pretty strong here, but I think they've lost just a little bit of their lead. Volibear in combat there was not too good, as well as Twitch just going down bottom and able to pick up the kills onto Misfortune and Lulu.
Yeah, this is another game where the AD carry is getting real fat for the side of Square Ducks, and that's what they really want to see. Their AD carry's done some excellent work in game 1. So far, he's done an excellent job in game number 2. Really able to apply pressure, even though he is actually down in items because he decided to go for boots, while Misfortune went straight for that BF sword. So he's going to be a little bit behind Misfortune, but he's up in kills, so he's going to be able to be just fine in a little bit. He's up in experience, though. That's the big thing. Misfortune has not hit level 6, while Twitch is already sitting on level 7.
Yeah.
Those extra levels are going to be absolutely massive. Same thing with the supports. They're only level 5. They need those ultimates to be useful in these fights, but they're really far behind in experience, and that's going to hurt ASU a little more than Square Ducks, just because Crescendo is so valuable to the lineup of ASU, as that's their only real big CC ability.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that Crescendo is absolutely game-changing, combined with bullet time, and it has huge potential to just turn around team fights with that. It's really up to ASU to really use that in their team fights and use it well, that is. Because when it comes down to team fights, like this Karthus has passed, he's just going to dive in there and then can have, wild growth from Lulu, or Xin Zhao can have the wild growth, or even Elise could have it, maybe Twitch if he needs it. But that wild growth from Lulu is just such a strong CC ability, and there's probably going to be a very strong front line coming out from Xin Zhao and Elise. Meanwhile, over for ASC, they really only have that Volibear. He's going to be building, straight tanky. Looks like Diana will be going, partially. She does have the Negatron cloak. Yeah, it's Negatron cloak coming out for that magic resist, but Volibear's going to be that main front line, but just I feel like Elise and Xin Zhao are going to be a much stronger front line.
Yeah, the big question is ASU going to engage? I don't think ASU is going to actually engage in a fight.
Actually the flash in and the Slug coming out, flip onto Locust here. He's going to be taking some damage from this one. Will be taken out by Jung. not much that could have happened for that one. Actually, ultimate coming off from Karthus, however, not going to be too effective at this point in time. He's going to put some damage up. I really don't think that Slackoh will really be able to do too much off of that one. Just going to go volleying and farm. However, looks like Diana and Xin Zhao are actually closing on to this one. Volibear coming around for gank 2. However, Twitch goes right into stealth and is able to get out of there.
Yeah, that's the one big thing about Twitch is if he sees a gank coming, he can pop stealth and really get moving, as he's one of the fastest AD carries in the game outside of Misfortune with Strut, just due to he gets some passive movement speed when he goes stealth. But I like this decision by Diana to pick up the magic resistance. She's eventually going to build into an Abyssal Scepter to give Nidalee's spears a bit more damage, and Sona's Crescendos a bit more as well. So it's going to be really useful in the late game just to lower those resistances and allow her to survive Karthus for a little bit and a bit of Elise damage, as I don't think Twitch is going to be hitting her too much. Twitch is going to be hitting Volibear and trying to get on someone like Sona or Nidalee if he can. And he's going to be doing a lot of kiting as well, as they have a lot of rushdown on the side of ASU. As we take a quick look at CS, Twitch is down pretty heavily to Misfortune, while Diana is heavily down on Karthus. Junglers are about even, and top lane's about even. So we're going to see what they actually decide to build and what they decide to do next. Because I think ASU wants to start to group up fairly soon. Once Nidalee picks up that first ability power item, she'll be able to deal some real big damage in these fights. And just kind of sit out and siege, which is what ASU's whole team plan's been about both games.
Yeah, last game, Slachwork on Nidalee, you know, he did a really excellent job on Nidalee. Just unfortunate that his team didn't do as well. You know, when he kind of got all that damage, he got the death cap. He's just doing massive damage with those spears. Of course, he is AP Nidalee, and you know, I think it's so just like I think it's like a trend. He's just like losing the laning phase right now compared to this Elise. Elise is pushing up. Elise has 2 kills. However, now into Nidalee, but still Elise has those 2 kills there, and just really shoving this up on Tilly. But you know, just look at that. Shout out to Harmony and Tyr, the goddess. Slachwork is not going at all for just going aggression or to win out the lane. She's just going to win out in the late game, and just farm up to get those ability power items. Really.
Yeah, I like the decision. It's what she did in the first game, but that late game never came. But this time the late game is going to be there. Especially because they're fairly close and they have a team comp that could win late, especially if Karthus doesn't build any more health items. If he just sits on that Rod of Ages, then goes pure ability power, 2 spears and he could die late game. And if he dies out of position, there is not going to be enough damage to beat down Volibear and Diana, especially with the defensive bonuses Sona's going to provide. And that's really what ASU is going to have to do at this point. And I think they're realizing, hey, we can take some opportunities here, take some risks. We're going to be okay late. We want to pick up an extra kill or 2. And that's why we see Volibear just continuously down that bottom lane. Or it could be because Dragon just respawned. As it looks like we're going to have an engagement in just a moment.
And people grouping around this Dragon here. Looks like Squirtek a little bit wary. Are going to be backing off of this one. It will be spotted in this brush. That is warded. Looks like Slachwork has actually come down here to help this one out. Flaresz is up top lane, still just pushing and pushing. And looks like Slachwork just going to be throwing out the spears, zoning people out, but this Dragon will be going over to ASU. However, I'm not too sure of the health on that top lane tower as Flaresz is pushing it down. There it goes. Going to be going down there, so tower for a Dragon. What do you think of that trade?
I like the tower a little bit more than the Dragon, just due to how it's a second tier tower. It's not an outer tower. It's a second tier one. As we do see a bit of an engage starting in the mid lane, but mostly just poking, as they really don't want to engage at this point.
Yeah, Diana's pretty low on mana. She really has to be careful of that one. Same thing for Karthus here. He actually has the blue buff. Never mind, he'll be okay. He'll be okay. So people looks like they're all grouping up mid lane. However, I don't think actually bullet time coming out from Misfortune. Looks like they just really want to clear out the wave there. Just using that bullet time early. Want to protect the tower just a bit. As looks like Squirtek will just go ahead and just back off there. I want to ask you about this Karthus. What do you think of like him not going for the Archangels just yet? He went for the Rod of Ages and now has the Sorcerer's Shoes. Do you think he's gonna be going for an Archangels or what?
I don't think he's going for it. If he was going to, he'd pick it up first just to get that extra bit of mana. As we do see a bit of engagement in the mid lane. Diana doing some good damage.
Flashing in the pull in, placing a lot of damage, but there is the wall coming out from the Karthus there, and Atrloc gonna get stunned out and will be taken out. So going way too aggressive onto that one, just overextending way too much for him, and he will be taken out there.
Yeah, I don't like the decision not to go for the tier on Karthus, just because it provides him a lot of mana. But I understand why he did it. He didn't want to be weak in this early game where Diana could burst him down. He wanted the extra health of Rod of Ages. But I think at this point he's going to just go Death Cap and into a more tanky build, which is going to be useful for his team, so he doesn't have to get something like the Wild Growth from Lulu, so he doesn't get taken out by Nidalee Spears. It's a good decision, and it'll provide his team some additional CDC eventually if he decides to pick up something like the Rylai's Crystal Scepter. But we shall see as he goes on, and he does have a Blasting Wand, likely going to go for a Death Cap next, just to get that AP rolling and getting some big, powerful ultimates off.
Yeah, definitely. Look at this Twitch, taking that early Infinity Edge. A little bit later than he did on Varus, but you know, there is quite a bit of a kill difference between his Varus and his Twitch so far in these games. Volibear really rushing out that Spirit of the Ancient Golem there, picked it up for the first item, and looks like mid lane the engage going off the nice crescendo, hitting 4 people. However, Sickoscott able to disengage with that one. Twitch is here, meanwhile Misfortune is not. Flaresz around the back, jumping in onto this one. Looks like Misfortune trying to go on the side, but getting caught out here using the bullet time, but was exhausted, just did not really do too much, in a bit of a bad position. Here comes, oh wow, Atrloc picking up the kill. Requiem comes out from Karthus. So I was looking to pick up that Volibear. Volibear sitting with a very, very small sliver of health there as he is going back. People are pushing out onto this mid lane now.
Overall, 1-for-1 exchange, though they might lose the tower on the ASU side of things, but a pretty good 1-for-1. Misfortune wasn't on a killing spree or anything. She was fairly low leveled compared to Elise, so they got more out of it, as Elise was on a 2-kill spree. So I think it was a good trade. They're not going to lose anything from it. And so far, they're only down 2,500 gold on the side of ASU. Square Duck's doing a good job of extending this lead. And it looks like we're going to have a bit of a push here on the side of ASU, right toward the mid lane for this middle tower, which there's no one in the area. It's not going to be stopped. Excellent decision. So that team fight actually worked out better than expected for ASU. Because the tower plus a more important kill is definitely worth it.
Definitely, I have to agree with you. Just able to pick up that tower, it's gonna be nice for them. Misfortune though, that last fight was a bit strange. I mean, there was a great crescendo from that Sona. If only they like Misfortune that hit the bullet time, just came around the side, and then she just got bursted down and used the, you know, her bullet time, but was exhausted through that one. Looks like Ballin, I believe that tower is still up and Twitch is going for it. I cannot tell.
Yeah, it's up. He's gonna be able to take it unless Diana gets there in time, but that's going to be close.
Yeah, there you go. The joys of having to watch a stream to cast. It's just so much different. Like, my hands are like behind my back. I don't even know what to do with them.
Yeah, I feel you there. It's difficult to know what to do with that. But the mid tower is still staying alive on ASU side. Square Duck's doing some good damage to it. But they are going to be forced back. They don't want to deal with those Nidalee Spears. And I'm liking Volibear's decision for both Boost of Swiftness and Spirit of the Ancient Golem, just due to the fact he's going to have to run in there. He's going to have to go through a lot of slowing CCs to get to that back line or to get someone important, because he's got the Wall of Pain. They've got the Cocoon from Elise. They have both Lulu, Twitch, and Xin Zhao slows. So it's going to be pretty hard for him to get stopped with all that slow and CC reduction.
Yeah, looks like they're sort of just pushing out onto the mid tower here. When this engage happens, though, well, actually might be happening soon. I'm not sure to ask the question. Just let this play out here. But who do you think will really win out the engage at this point when it comes to the full-on 5-on-5 team fight?
At the moment, I think it's going to be Square Ducks if they can get a good engagement off. But I don't think they want to fight at the moment. They want to sit back, pick up a next set of items, because it looks like several people are close to finishing things off. Like Elise is right about at that Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Xin Zhao's
All of
almost
this-
at the Aegis.
Oh, look at this dragon coming off from ASU. They're gonna be able to pick it up. However, Squirtle was aware of this. They all swarm down to here, but not being able to do anything about it. Actually, they're picking out mid lane. So they do want to push that one down.
Overall, a good trade. Basically even overall. I don't think anyone really got the advantage of it unless Squirtle comes over here and steals the blue away from Nidalee or Diana. Because Diana going a very mana light build, so she is going to be in a lot of trouble without that blue buff. She really relies on it to deal damage, as she just doesn't have enough mana to do anything more than 1 or 2 attacks.
Slachwork is in trouble running into this Twitch here, taking a lot of damage from this one. Will she get taken down here? Requiem coming off from the Karthus. That is gonna be the kill. Killing spree now for the Karthus, using that ultimate for good use. Which is the terror. Karthus and now Squirtle will be able to take the advantage here and push down this tower.
It was a good decision, as Nidalee just got caught out. She didn't recognize Twitch was stealth, but it looks like Volibear is going to try and come in here, but Xin Zhao with a disengage, but not enough of a
this goes to both
disengage.
sides, and Crescendo coming around. Karthus is not here. Kill goes out for Misfortune, as well as Volibear. Looks like Slackoh goes on a killing spree now, but will still be taken out. Actually gets shut down by the Sona. And a 4-on-4 team fight ends up with the 3-for-3 exchange. Actually, oh no, a 5-on-4 team fight ends up. No, 4-on-4 team fight ends up with a 3-for-3 exchange there. I forgot Nidalee was dead for a second, but 3-for-3 exchange there. Not too bad really. They did shut down that Twitch, I believe. Yeah, they did. Someone did pick that one up, so.
Yeah, they shut down Twitch.
Oracles. Wow.
Yeah, it was a decent fight for ASU. Square Ducks, they'll take the fight. They want to get to that next level of items. They saved the Karthus ult for a little bit. They might have been able to get an extra kill or so at the end, but that fight might not have happened.
Yeah.
Nidalee has decided to pick up the death cap first, like she did in the first game. And I like this decision, and I don't think ASU can fight without Nidalee at this point. They need to just play defensively, let those spears fly, and then take an engagement. They are, like we just saw, they had a 4-on-5, more like a 4-on-4, with Nidalee dying so early. And it turned out even. They weren't in any real advantage, and it was even. Which is pretty bad. You need to be ahead in these fights if you're fighting evenly, or at least even in those fights. Instead of being ahead.
Damage in the mid lane. Captain Capricious coming out to save him. Atrloc actually taking damage now. Jessica Jung getting really close in there. Having standing inside the Karthus. And now taking lots of damage. Has to flash out of there. But no flash in replace. Picks up the kill. On to Jessica Jung. Will be going down to Volibear. But Twitch showed up. Picked up Atrloc. Now they're chasing after this. And wow, flashing Captain Korea picks up the kill. And now that's the 3-for-1 exchange. Square Duck in the lead at this point. Now this is really, really well done by them.
Yeah, that exhaust really baited them hard. That Misfortune couldn't do anything in that fight. The Karthus exhaust really proving to be invaluable. And that's the one reason why people always like to pick up exhaust compared to something else. As it looks like Nidalee is going to come up here and try and at least steal Baron with some spears.
Yeah, can't you do that is a question. No, it will not happen. However, it does help them net a kill onto Bad Burglar. Onto Bad Burglar picks up the Xin Zhao Crescendo. Oh, Crescendo wasted there. Thinking Twitch was chasing her off, but instead Twitch was up there going after Slachwork gets picked up.
A little bit of a wasted Karthus ultimate there, but it's all good. They picked up the kill. They picked up Baron. They have a 6,000-ish gold lead, and they're really doing a good job so far. Lulu takes a bit of harassment in the mid lane, but no real worries, as she's able to just use her speed boost to jump away. Misfortune has picked up that static shiv. She's just not going to be doing as much damage as Twitch in the near future, and that's going to really hurt her team. They need her doing a lot of damage, especially if they can get someone low, use something like the double up to finish off a kill. But they really just needed her to get that next set of items so that they can have the follow-up they need on those Nidalee spears. Karthus has gone for a death cap, working into a Zhonya's Hourglass. Elise has finished up that Ra's Crystal Scepter and Leandry's Torment, so she's going to be doing some ridiculous damage in team fights. Volibear finishing off the Aegis of the Legion, as the supports are picking up fairly standard support items, as we're likely to see a Shirley's Reverie or a Lock of the Iron Solari coming out onto both Lulu and Sona very soon. Twitch has finished off that Phantom Dancer, so he's going to be doing some ridiculous amounts of damage in these next fights. And it's really going to come down to who gets the engagement off. If Square Ducks can get a good engagement off like they've been doing, finding that one kill, then turning that one kill into 2 and 3, they're going to make a bigger lead and possibly push for an inhibitor. But if the side of ASU can just poke, they can play patiently, play very defensive, and poke, they'll have a chance, as those Nidalee spears are still hurting a lot.
Yeah, has that death grip now, has Sorcerer's Shoes. That's just what the next time is going to be, but here comes the push out from Square Duck. Wow, that spear just chunking down there. That's just the terror of it. I mean, if they get someone low enough, as you're saying, they can go in. For ASU, that is. And Square Duck will have to be very careful of that. I'm sure that they know this. However, you know, they're just playing very cautiously here, just picking up all these objectives that they can at the moment. Lanes are pushing for them, except bot lane, which Miss Fortune was just at. I'm really worried about this Miss Fortune though, because she had some strange positioning I've been seeing. You know, like that fight when she was with Diana in the mid lane, she got exhausted. Like her positioning was so off there, just running kind of right into the Karthus and a fight long before when she came in through the side and got bursted down here. So she will have to be a little bit careful. I think she just kind of needs to stay at the back to get her bullet time off and just spray it on to everybody there.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a smart engagement for ASU. They're playing it very safe. They're poking with Nidalee. And as we saw, 2 or 3 of those spears, and Square Ducks can't engage. The only good advantage is there is a Baron buff on the side of Square Ducks.
Yep. They're also, look at that, top lane is pushing out. Meanwhile, bottom lane is actually pushing out for ASU there. So both these lanes just sort of pushing out because these minions here just going to be useful to pushing it out. Looks like, Dragon going to be going down. Really nice Dragon control coming off of them. They're just, Square Deck just picking up all these objectives here.
They've done an excellent job of securing objectives. And they really did that by pushing the mid lane so that ASU had to group up towards the mid lane. They had to play it very safe so they couldn't go out there and do things like ward near Dragon or get good positioning on Dragon, and Square Ducks just capitalized on it. And also with this top lane pushing this heavily, if ASU doesn't go back there and defend it every now and then, it's going to push the tower down eventually.
There's the bullet time and Crescendo coming out. Looks like this Volibear might be able to survive here. Diving in onto this couch security, getting really low. Sickoscott will be going in onto this. I'm not too sure he can do too much. He's exhausted. Jessica Jung able to pick up the kill there. Here comes a Requiem from the Karthus. Not going to be able to pick up anybody. Flaresz taken out by Slachwork. Volibear still living with barely any health. He looks like Slackoh coming out. Can he pick someone up here? Bad Burglar taking a lot of damage and will be taken out by that. So 2-for-2 exchange there.
Definitely in favor of ASU at this point.
Yeah.
As they got 2 higher priority targets. Misfortune and Sona not that high, but Elise and Xin Zhao are fairly high, and they're going to be able to defend fairly well. Nidalee got double buffs.
Nidalee flashing in there with the spear coming off, able to shut down the Twitch. However, Twitch was able to pick up the kill right back onto her there with the poisons.
Interesting exchange, but I definitely think that's in favor of ASU yet again. Twitch is off the field for a few seconds. He's higher level, so Nidalee got more experience. And the big thing is Twitch isn't farming. Twitch has just finished the last Whisper, so he is ridiculously farmed. He's basically tied for Karthus at 140 minions each, while Misfortune's the only one over 400 on the side of ASU. Square Duck's doing an excellent job this game of really controlling the map. As we can see, they're up 4 towers to 2, and Square Ducks is up a few kills as well, as it is 13 to 17, and they're up 8,000 gold now. They've really put one on ASU so far. They've taken objectives, they pushed out all the lanes, and they made sure to get the experience and minions.
Top lane looks like 3 people are traveling up here. Elise, Xin Zhao, and Lulu closing it on to Diana. That should she can get out of here will be slowed down by the Glitter Lance as well as from that Polymorph. However, Wildgrowth actually comes out for the knockup, but she's going to be taken out here. Volibear and Nidalee are here putting off some damage. Not too sure they can do too much. And all the Nidalees are actually picking up the Xin Zhao. And now Volibear is still in the middle of this, chasing after them. Flash away from the Lulu, but Twitch will be showing up here, will be flipped back. But the Misfortune just getting bursted down. Flash Crescendo coming out from Sona, but not a lot of backup coming out from her team. And she will be taken out by Elise. It looks like Volibear being chased down by Karthus here. Can he get out of this one? Dodging the skills left and right. Meanwhile, Slachwork still trying to still trying to pick people off here. Will be caught off by Elise here. It looks like we'll be taking out Elise, picking that one up. And that's a 4-for-1 exchange there, and just SquareDuck winning that one out.
Excellent decision there by SquareDuck to just kind of find the lone person, take them off, and capitalize on the fact ASU has constantly had these engagements where they kind of come in 1 by 1, 2 by 2, and this is going to be the first inhibitor taken by SquareDuck, and they're looking very dominant so far. And I don't think there's anything ASU can do at this point. They just need to farm up and do what they did in the first game, try to get the 6 items, try to get Nidalee as strong as she can so she can just poke down before the fight begins, and they can take a fight on their terms. I don't think they've had a fight on their terms any game so far. It's all been SquareDuck picking where and when the fights happen and capitalizing on that fact that they don't have to worry about the engagements. They can, or don't have to worry about like capitalizing on mistakes. They can just kind of take the fights they want. They don't have to play in panic mode. They play very safe. And it looks like Baron has respawned, so we're likely going to see an engagement over there in just a few moments.
I just feel like this Miss Horse has just had the worst luck with her positioning here. I mean, she just keeps getting bursted down at the beginning of these fights. Just another BS and another Vampiric Scepter. What is she going for?
She could go double Bloodthirster, but I think she's going to go into Infinity Edge with just kind of a casual Vampiric Scepter, which is eventually going to turn into a Blade of the Rune King. Just because she needs extra sustain, even though I'm not sure how much it helps her, is every single fight it seems like she walks in, she gets exhausted, and she can't do anything. If she wasn't exhausted every time, she'd be able to do a lot of damage and turn some of these around, but that exhaust is just too strong.
Definitely, and just people... Oh, my stream is completely lagging out on me, so hold up.
Okay, I'll keep taping over. Just hop back in whenever you're ready. It looks like Twitch has picked up that Quicksilver Sash, not wanting to get CC'd by Sona, as that's the one way that they can really burst him down. We're going to see a Dragon or Baron engagement very soon, as it looks to be a 3-man Baron with Xin Zhao and Lulu in the mid lane. Lulu takes a lot of damage from the spear, but 3-man Baron, no contention.
Easy Baron for them, wow. They didn't even have the jungler there, just picked that up so easily there. So much damage coming out from Elise, Karthus, and Twitch. They're the most veteran team. They actually have pretty much all the kills on the team. And they're just going to be shoving down this mid lane. And once again, with that Baron buff, really just able to put off the siege here. And it's like Flaresz chasing after Slachwork here. Wow, lots of damage coming out from just auto attacks there. And they're just shoving on in for this. Slachwork doing a lot of damage, will be stunned. However, they're re-engaging out onto Flaresz. Will be throwing off the repel though and get out of their wild growth going out onto her from the Lulu. As people are just grouping up here in this space, is not looking good at all for ASU here. SquareDuck just picked up first. Oh, they actually have 2 inhibitors down for ASU. There's a bot outer tower up that they could go for. It looks like they will be backing out of the base and is going for the bot outer tower.
Yeah, it's a good decision. The top 2 lanes will push in. There's not going to be a big fight for this tower, and they're going to have to make their stand on the ASU side on the next tower. The reason they got Baron so easily was because the jungler wasn't there. You want the jungler there for Smite, but he wasn't there, so they didn't think they were doing it.
Yep, and looks like bullet time coming out from Misfortune, pulling the Locust back in. Shell's coming up with the crescendo, and then Volibear is actually able to pick up the kill. Sickoscott getting taken down solo will be picked up by Slachwork there. Chasing after Captain Career will be going down to Atrloc there. It looks like Slackoh coming back and doing lots of damage. However, Flaresz is pushing down onto the Nexus right now. It picked up the two Nexus towers while the whole fight was happening, and now there's an exposed Nexus that she might want to go for. Look at, she's just guiding these 3 around, doing lots of damage, just exploding spikes. She's gonna be going get onto this one. Volibear gonna be going back right into his base. And there comes the repel, jumping right back onto Jessica Jung, and Atrloc, however, will be taken out by Jessica Jung. And now ASU has to defend their Nexus against all of these minions.
I like the decision there to go for the Nexus turrets and possibly the win. They just weren't tanky enough to let Elise do the damage she needed to that Nexus. If they would have stayed alive another 2 to 3 seconds, it might have been GG. But that fight ended perfectly in time for ASU. They're going to be able to defend long enough for their inhibitors to respawn. as Elise was taken out fairly late there. And this is what ASU needs. They needed another engagement where they took a bunch of kills. They managed to save their base for now. And interesting enough, Misfortune has gone for double Bloodthirster. Really surprised she did that, but she just wants to stay alive in these fights by life-stealing it up. It looks like we are going to have the entire team of Square Ducks running down to the bottom lane, with the exception of Elise, who is still dead for a little bit, and they just want to take this turret down, so there's not a turret that they can fight at. It looks like we are going to have a big engagement here. Switch does some massive damage to Misfortune, but he's under a lot of trouble as Diana jumps in there, but Diana is taken out. Sona in a lot of trouble as well. She doesn't have a crescendo for another half second or so, and she will go down without using it, and that should be a good game. Without Diana and Sona, there is nothing that ASU can do.
They didn't even have Elise now. Final inhibitor tower will be going down. Looks like this final inhibitor. And now they will just move on to the next as Ward's being put out here. Slackoh is standing in the front. Will be pushed in here and will actually be able to pick up the kill out to Nidalee. And now looks like just sort of on the fountain dive coming on here. But that is going to be the Nexus. Somehow Misfortune brings the kill. But that is the Nexus. So Square will be advancing on in this IPL Summer Promotion qualifiers. They will be able to go off and face versus Curse Academy over in LA for LCS week during LCS Week 9.
Thank you for watching Games Cast by PanderNyrl. If you wish to see more, follow my YouTube and Twitch pages below.